Oh, Tim Sino just joined us.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Sciatica Tonight. Yes, welcome to the show, my friends. Yes, I've got a pain in my ass going down my left leg, and it will not go away. And no, it's not from that, you dirty bastards. Let's go ahead and welcome in the audience. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about here today, and hopefully this show will make me forget about this. And, oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? Let's welcome in the audience. AM is out there along with Amiga Rules. We got April in the chat. And you wonder, why am I welcoming people in? Because it's a live show, folks. You want to catch it live if you can. Banana Booey's in the chat along with Aussie. Good to see you, Brains. We got Carl Garrison along with Conniving Bones. Cosmo Fang's out there along with Craig Smith, Dave C., and Dead Fish Cheese Spread. That sounds so good right now. Eliza Teal's out there along with Elvis and Firefly and Frank and Geraldine and GSBT. Whoopee! That's what I'm about to say right now. Shit. Who else we have out there? We've got Hudson and JJ and JCat Meow, Jericho, Julian, Louie. Good to see you. Kelly Broughton and Piercing Blue Eyes. You just popped up to say hello. Good, hello. Louie's out there along with Mr. Vibrating. You need some new batteries, my friend, because that name's gone flat. Who else we have out there? We got Necessary Dialogue, PC Anderson, One Planet, One Species. Oh, we got PC Anderson, Prison Films US, Psychosomatic Addict Insane, Rainstorm Hunter, R. Heck is out there along with Scooby Dooby Gooby, Stephen Forbes, Steve Mateo, The Truth Master, True Blood is out there along with, as all these names pop up, holy cow. I see I can't name you. Wasteland Wonder, Wendy Joe, and Wee Wiki. How about that? Oh, let's get into the studio and see who the hell we've got there. Daryl, how's it going, my friend? You're muted. Oh, national security has taken away your voice. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well. One of those days. It's Wednesday, not Friday, but it was kind of like an FU Friday today, but I got through it. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Should be another interesting show. You would be exchanging your wedding ring for a toilet ring?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's par for the course, my friend.
Oh, we love your misery, Mike. Everyone loves to hear you talk about it. You know, it's almost as good as, bringing up our dear friend. Even, oh, my God, she's popping out of my chest, Mike. Help me.
Oh, God. No more. No, thanks. Susan Goff. No, we don't need any more of that.
I gotta have fun with it. What a day.
Oh, it has been a day. I agree.
Spent it horizontal, not in a good way either.
No, not at all. But that being said, we still have a lot to talk about tonight, so it's going to be a fun conversation.
Oh, yeah. There has been a lot of conversation going on X, if I can go ahead and find the browser, because I know I brought all this shit up earlier. On Medium and all that stuff. I want to get
Which deals
okay, we got that one. We can play that one when we get to it. Where in the fuck is the window from X? It's not here. How about that? All right, there it is. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about whistleblowers going on X and the protections that are needed, what we're getting in the NDAA, what we're not getting in the NDAA. But, Mike, I've been biting my tongue or biting my upper lip. Actually, I'll pull it over my head right now because that's about what I need. But, I also had a little over a week ago, a little bird told me, related to the word imminent, if you know what I mean, that currently the language for an executive order to protect whistleblowers coming forward on disclosure and to kind of take the finger out of the dike, let the information flow as it's been held back for the longest time, is being worked on. The language is coming together, which would kind of mean, Mike, where there's a lot of people out there all worried about the whistleblower protections happening or not happening. It sounds like behind the scenes that, yes, an executive order is being put together specifically for whistleblowers that will be presented to the president to go ahead and execute, because a lot of people are saying, Trump, sign an executive order on this. Quick question. for anyone, how many executive orders does Trump actually write?
We know he writes a lot of them.
No, he doesn't write not one. He doesn't write any of that shit.
Oh, personally, no, but he signs a lot of executive orders.
He signs them.
Yeah, he signs them, but he don't write them.
What you talking about, Willis? Hold on, let me meet you, sweaty nerd. He's getting ahead of himself, getting a little too excited there. Not too early, my friend. Mike, you there?
Right here.
Okay. So someone's got to write these executive orders. You have to have the subject matter experts, right?
Yeah.
Come together, lock themselves away, come up with language that will appease all the ticks in the room, actually politics in the room, which means all the blood-sucking motherfuckers who are out there to go ahead and just take all of our money away and put it together for their special interest. You know, politics, mini ticks. But I know it's an old one. Got to run with it today. So the language is getting put together. It's probably at this point, maybe, hopefully getting negotiated. Can't say when it's going to happen other than it's imminent, meaning it'll be coming soon. Which is good to know that stuff is the gears are actually turning, and we're more than just people just talking about it, because there seems to be a lot of people just talking, kvetching, and complaining and whining about where is it, why don't we have it. Have some patience. We've been waiting for all of this stuff for 80 years? Yep. We finally have a president who's going to give us the stuff we need, but you need everybody else to make it happen. In other news, hopefully we're going to get to that whole piece. Hold on. In other news, it flew up right out. That's what happens when you're in pain. You lose what the hell you're talking about.
Your train of thought.
Oh, I know. It's one of those days, friends. There's a bunch of stuff. Where do I start? Where are all the ones where they're all kvetching about? All right. Okay, let's bring this up. This is where my mind brought us down this path. Hopefully it led us in the right direction. Sometimes you're on autopilot, you let your higher self take you where it needs to go, and this is where it took us today. So let's bring this up and get to it. All right, so coming from Daniel Miller, he's a government, interesting person. So first of all, he's talking about something that I'm thinking about. If people want whistleblowers to, quote, show us their evidence, end quote, behind their claims, then how about we pass some legislation or getting an executive order signed that gives them the protections to do so? Then maybe they wouldn't have to worry about threats to their families, pensions, healthcare benefits, overall livelihoods, and actual lives. Yeah, because when a whistleblower talks about stuff, Mike, we know it just doesn't hit the whistleblower. It hits the whistleblower, their immediate family, and everybody who surrounds them, because that's how they play their dirty tricks.
Correct. And that's what's been preventing them from coming forward. If you remember the last UAP hearing, Burleson was out there begging people with information to come forward, and nobody wanted to, because there was no whistleblower protections in place to protect them and their families. So, and that was a couple of years ago. So it seems like now it's starting to move in the right direction.
Yes.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully is right.
In response to that, some people like me, you, and others, Mike, like to do a quote tweet versus a reply to it, because replies get buried, tweets or messages, posts get brought to the top. Regarding the skeptic response in this, it is true there are whistleblower protections already in place, and it is true that legal representation of those people are saying it's not enough. So unless you're a lawyer specializing in whistleblowers, maybe don't pretend you know. Yeah. one reply comes in, maybe there aren't actual blowing they aren't actually blowing actual witnesses, so the actual whistleblower protections don't apply, and they want to be treated like whistleblowers even though they have a BS unprotected claims they're making, because this is all a crock of bullshit. There's always skeptics out there everywhere, Mike. He said, well, maybe it's all BS, but that's not how it works. People aren't punished for being wrong. The investigation determines if it's wrong. So it's kind of one of those situations where we look at this and there's a lot of people looking at it from both sides of it. Now, I know that, where is it? I had something from, all right, Joe Murgia, right? I said that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get to Joe's tweet, there is a proposed military whistleblower protection revisions that'll be in the NDAA, but it's only for military. It doesn't include everybody else who's in like the intelligence communities, right?
Civilian contractors, people who are non-military, no, it doesn't protect
They're
them.
all left out to fucking dry.
Correct.
Let's get to this. Here we go. All right. So coming from our dear friend, once again, your best buddy, Mike D.D. Johnson.
Oh,
Gotta
yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
As I reported on June 5th, 2026, the version of the National Defense Authorization Act reported out by the Senate Armed Services Committee, now assigned the number Senate Bill 4784, contains no specific UAP-related provisions within its 1,642 pages. It does contain Section 527, which would add several new provisions to the existing military whistleblower protection law, which is Section 1034 of Title 10. The bill would extend the list of already prohibited, quote, retaliatory personnel actions, unquote, to cover retaliatory security clearance reviews like Rush had, right?
Yes.
And retaliatory psychiatric, mental health, or medical testing.
Right.
Existing Section 1034 provisions already bar unfavorable personal actions, threats as such as actions, withholding favorable actions, significant duty changes, failure to respond to known retaliatory harassment, and retaliatory investigations. Basically, don't retaliate on these guys. The bill would also add language stating that a non-disclosure agreement would not affect the provisions provided by Section 1034. So it sounds like it's a good basis. Almost they just need to open it up beyond military personnel.
They do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, the Senate Armed Services Committee's report, not yet assigned a number, on Senate 1784, which is the NDAA, directs the Comptroller General to conduct a sweeping review of the training standards and performance of military investigators, those associated with the IG or the Inspector General of the Department of Defense, and others, in handling whistleblower reprisal complaints. Meaning, guess what? If they need training, that means they're not doing the job they should be doing in the first place. The Comptroller General heads the Government Accountability Office, GAO. Isn't the GAO investigating RO?
They are. They're doing an investigation, not just on their budget, which has been a secret since they started, but their efficiency as far as are they doing the job that they were set up to do. They're looking into it on many different angles. So, yeah, they're taking a hard look at Arrow. Good. Someone should.
Yeah. So the investigating arm of Congress, the committee report language directs the Comptroller General to brief the Senate House Armed Service Committee on the GAO's findings no later than April 2nd, 2027. Yeah. But do they ever really stick to the deadlines that they have in the NDAA? Never. Where's our historical report, volume 2, that's about 2 years late?
Never got it.
Where's our yearly report that's over a year and a half late?
Never got it. They think they're above the law. That's one of the big issues with
they're in
Arrow.
the DOD, they're above the law. Exactly.
Right.
No, they're not. But
No,
no one in the
absolutely not.
Senate, not one schmuck of the senators we have, is willing to call them up and say, why aren't you compliant with this? You must be compliant, and give them a deadline. But they already had a deadline.
Yeah, they blew right through it.
Yeah. So all this bill language and reported language deals with military DOD whistleblower protections, not the separate intelligence community whistleblower laws that have figured more prominently in some UAP-related discussions. The current version of the IAA, which is the Intelligence Authorization Act, for fiscal year 27, as approved by the Select Senate Committee in May, does not contain any major revisions to whistleblower laws applicable to the intelligence community or those beyond. In many years, but not all, the IAA ends up being wrapped into the NDAA and is actually enacted as part of the NDAA. So, long story short, there are protections that are being enhanced for those in the military from the National Defense Authorization Act, but it ends at that.
Right. It only covers the military. It doesn't cover the Title 50, which is the intelligence agencies, or any of these civilian contractors.
Yeah. Now,
that's a big gap.
Yeah, as Joe brings up, is this enough to get firsthand witnesses or whistleblowers to come forward? How about that executive order, POTUS? Well,
yeah,
Joe,
he's right.
We've just addressed that. It's imminent. Yeah. Read the book. You should know who was involved writing both of those. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Yeah.
The bill would extend the list of already prohibited, quote, retaliatory personnel actions, end quote, to cover retaliatory security clearance reviews and retaliatory psychiatric, mental health, or medical testing. Our existing Section 1034 provisions already bar unfavorable personnel actions such as threats of such action, withholding favorable actions, significant duty changes, failure to respond to known retaliatory harassment, and retaliatory investigations. The bill would also add language stating that non-disclosure agreements would not affect what we just kind of covered. So, yeah, they're moving forward protections, Mike, for some, but not for everybody, and that's the problem. Which comes down to, how about that executive order, Otis? Yes?
Yeah. No, he's right about that. We've been saying it from day one. He needs to write the executive order on disclosure and declassify a lot of the obstacles that are in the way of people coming forward and speaking on this.
You know, I had a really great dream last night. I need to do an aside here. Luke just came and reminded me about it. My sister, Cindy, the one who got run over 3 times by 3 sets of wheels.
Right.
Great karma. She was in my dream last night, and she was going off on me for whatever reason. You know, it's like I told her, if you're going to be a bitch, I can be an asshole. I can be equally an asshole because I'm a Fessler, and I know how to be an asshole. Sorry.
Sleep talking.
I was sleep talking. Yes, in my dreams, when the dreams are really in there, whenever I talk, it comes out my mouth for whatever reason. Hopefully everyone else has that kind of stuff. So yeah, be careful, folks. Don't piss me off because I have the genetics of being an asshole.
Exactly.
Oh, come on, Mike. Cheer up.
No, I'm fine. But I listen, what you're saying applies to everybody. We all have a good and a bad side.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. At least sometimes we know how to compartmentalize it, put it all to the side. Oh, by the way, Daryl, here's the national security on this one.
Drink up, everybody. There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate that, national security.
Oh, we need that, my friend. And everyone to the audience, here's the national security in my fucking hip. Left one. You always used to be the right one. Now what's the left? No. It's always been the left one.
Sorry, you're going through the pain.
So many years. It's been nice for so many years. So let's get back into here, figure out where we're going next on that. All right, so I think we've covered the part on the executive orders. Now let's jump into the Rappy gang inquiry report from the United Kingdom. No, we'll save that for Saturday. It's one heck of a zinger on that one. So where am I getting to next?
The Royal Air Force, is that what you're saying? Raffy?
How would you... R-A-P-E, Rappy, right?
I thought you were a Rappy. Maybe on a first name basis with the
Yes.
Royal Air Force.
All right. What else we've got going on? Christopher Sharp doing today. I need to go down the rabbit hole.
No, don't pay attention to what he just said.
No, that's okay. We'll get there.
No, I'm talking about my Mr. Man here listening to your
Ferrari is on his lap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about RABBITs and
Rabbits?
No.
Oh, you just saw his ears perk up.
Thank you.
Oh boy.
Did you get any of the salsa from them? Okay. Gotcha. We don't want to go for a walk now either, so. His eyes perked up.
It's been raining. He wants to go for a walk.
Oh, I know how that goes. Let's get into this now, Thomas. No, I don't want to get there. Yeah, let's bring you guys back again. All right, so having examined the historical architecture of secrecy, we're talking about Kaplan, the guy we saw the video on last night. I think we can bring this one up again because he's seemed to be very. I played that right from. I played that right from X last night. Son of a. All right. Okay. So there's a. Let's just jump into this. I'll skip it. Kaplan turns to modern unidentified UAP debate and recent developments, presenting several revelations that closely align with allegations independently shared with the Liberation Times. Let's go ahead and bring up the story coming from the Liberation Times. Thank you, Christopher Sharp, for all the wonderful work you do. The architecture and secrecy of MJ-12 recovered craft and the origins of the legacy program. I think this is kind of important at the time. We're trying to break the secrecy and bringing it forward. Written by Christopher Sharp on June 17th, 2026. Back in the 40s, in the shadow of World War II, cities had been destroyed. The atomic bomb had changed world forever, and the United States was constructing the CIA, the National Security Council, and the permanent machinery of the modern security state. Yes, that's right, folks. That's where we became the national security state of America. We just talked about this last night, didn't we? I think we did. Yeah. Yeah, we became the national security state of America from the United States of America. Let me go ahead and bring this across as a picture, and then I can go ahead and go through this article. Something up here for me to kind of look at. All right, here, let's get into it. Then, according to the disputed majestic documents, which recently, I believe, Elizondo said were real, but although we're not like MJ-12, we're like MJ-27 or something like that, or is it 34?
27, yeah. But that doesn't go by majestic anymore. It's a different name. Yeah.
Something arrived that made even weapons of that age look primitive. The papers claim that President Harry Truman established MJ-12 or Majestic 12 following the alleged recovery of a non-human craft in 1947. Its task was supposedly to secure the wreckage, study the technology, and prevent the truth from escaping the tightly controlled circle of military intelligence and scientific officials. Now, the implications they think at that time were terrifying. The alleged visitors could evade radar, outrun the fastest aircraft, and enter American airspace at will. Their intentions were unknown. Yeah, it's still that way today. Only 2 years after the end of the most destructive war in human history at that time, officials appeared to have considered whether the next conflict might not come from Moscow, but from space, or dimensional for that matter. This is the picture presented in Not for Disclosure, a new book by Jonathan Kaplan. Kaplan is not a conventional UFO researcher. He's one of Britain's leading barristers with career built on weighted evidence, testing completed explanations, and finding weaknesses in complex cases. His conclusions do not only rest on the majestic papers. In the book's preface, Kaplan says he has, quote, met and interviewed many of the key people in this twilight area, end quote, including nuclear physicist and Roswell researcher Stanton Friedman, Harvard psychiatrist John Mack, John Keel, Gordon Crichton, Jacques Vallée, Timothy Good, and I'm not going to mention the last name, which is Stephen Greer. He also writes that some of the contacts must remain confidential because of their official positions. They are, he says, privy to some extraordinary information about the topic. Kaplan acknowledges the limitation this creates. Some information cannot be publicly sourced, while other material cannot be used at all. But he says he includes confidential information where he is satisfied by it and has permissions to publish it. Quote, I have been able to open some doors largely because I have been a trusted king's counsel, end quote. He writes. So, there was a conversation talking where we get into, I scrolled. His new most striking evidence includes an unpublished page from the MJ-12 report among the papers from his researcher, Tim Cooper. It describes a top secret meeting with Truman at Blair House on the 14th of July, 1949. The document says, the subject was whether the United States should share knowledge of the majestic findings. Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was allegedly called to Washington and asked to formulate, quote, a policy of defense for U.S. and NATO regarding UFOs. Now, the meeting itself is historical. Truman's and Eisenhower records confirmed that an off-the-record gathering took place at Blair House that day, that evening, at that time. Senior figures from the administration, Congress, defense, and atomic energy establishment attended. So, Mike, the stars are aligning on this one.
Yeah, seems like it.
The accepted explanation is that meeting concerned international atomic policy. However, the MJ documents presents a far more extraordinary account. It states that, quote, the use of atomic weapons has been considered as a last line of defense against a massive aerial assault on the United States and allied countries. It adds that, quote, the Secretary of State Marshall and Defense Secretary Forrestal have agreed to a consensus with other allied countries. Wait a minute. Forrestal. What was his role again, Mike? James Forrestal?
James Forrestal was the first Director of Secretary of Defense for the United States.
Right. He's the guy who accidentally jumped out of his bathroom window 10 stories up at a hotel when they took him into custody and mandatory put him in to hospitalization, and he fell backwards out his bathroom window.
He did, and fell to his death, even though his family wanted access to him, but the hospital and the military would not provide it to them. And then he died, perished, committed suicide, according to the reports.
Yep.
And we believe that he was the first casualty of the disclosure movement to bring the truth out.
Right.
And
they
obviously
found him,
it seems like he was.
They shut him down.
They did shut him down because his family said that he wanted to publicly disclose about disclosure, tell the truth, because the American people had a right to know, and they put him out of his misery as a result of that.
Yep.
Yeah,
now, in this document, Mike, it reads, quote, even with the cooperation from Russia, such agreements would not produce the unified front so desired in the event if such an attack would occur. Instead, it describes proposals for a deeper level of international cooperation involving the exchange of technology, intelligence, and physical material. It states, quote, I'll bring this up.
I just want to say real quick before you go any further, if you remember, and we've covered this many times on the show, what they were talking about back then, President Reagan already got his answer from Russia at the UN meeting in 1985. And Russia said they would stand with the United States in the event of a conflict with an advanced civilization. So we already, I mean, that was, 40 years later, but we basically got the answer. Reagan did.
So the issue of whether or not we could bring Russia in the fold didn't take place until the 80s.
Right, 85. And then Russia said, yes, they would stand with the United States, if you remember.
So Back to this document here. The administration proposed that, quote, know-how of new technologies would be shared with, deleted, an agreement for pooling of information, and an unspecified number of flying saucer component parts be stored in blank by U.S. members of Majestic. There we go. The document also suggests that conventional defense measures have already failed, stating fighter interception had proved fruitless. Referring to the death of Captain Thomas Mantell while pursuing a UFO in 1948, it recommends that military aircraft avoid close encounters and maintain a non-threatening approach. The document portrays officials confronting a threat without precedent. An intelligence capable of entering defense airspace, craft capable of defeating existing radar and aircraft, technology so advanced that recovered components were treated as strategic assets, intentions that remained completely unknown. The letter also says that the report, reviewed by senior CIA officials, approved by Director Alan Dulles, and supported by the intelligence branches of the armed forces. It says no copies were made. Photographs and recordings were placed under special control, access only through a National Security Council. Sounds like the same bullshit we're dealing with now for the cover-up, Mike.
Yep, exactly.
So the Majestic Papers claim that on September 24th, 1947, less than 3 months after Roswell, Truman established MJ-12 through a classified directive. Now, according to documents, he acted at the urging of two men positioned at the heart of America's emerging national security state. One was Vannevar Bush, director of the Office of Scientific Research and Development, and a central organizer of the early atomic bomb program that became the Manhattan Project. Now, this aligns with what a lot of people have said, Mike, that the Manhattan Project, when it completed, was transformed into a program for the research on UFOs.
Yes, because it had the most security at that time that the United States could keep things secret under the atomic bomb program with the Manhattan Project. So, yeah, that worked.
Yes, it did. And the other was James Forrestal, the newly appointed first Secretary of Defense, who died less than 2 years later. After falling from a window at Bethesda Naval Hospital. His death was officially described as suicide, although its circumstances, as we just talked about, would fuel speculation for decades, if not longer. The alleged directed... Yeah. What was that again, Mike?
Without a doubt, Thomas. It was something that we knew without a doubt that he was, silenced.
Right. The alleged directive stated, hereinafter this matter shall be referred to only as Operation Majestic 12. It also said that all future decisions should rest, quote, solely on the office of the president, end quote. Kaplan then checks the document against historical record. Truman's appointment calendar and Forrestal's diary confirmed that the president met Bush and Forrestal at 11:30 a.m. that day. So all the stories, according to what the president was doing and who was meeting there, Mike, line up. The only thing that's missing is there were no notes taken on what was actually discussed.
Right. And any of the Majestic 12 files that have come out have all been debunked as not being official documents from the government.
Right. This is the one time we wish we had Tom Whitmore here.
Yeah. No, he would know. He did over 30 years of research on this topic.
Yep. That does not prove what they discussed, but the meeting was real. So Kaplan suggests this may have reflected their work on recovered non-human craft, although the page does not provide underlying source for implementation. The nickname proves nothing by itself, but Kaplan said that Ford later worked on Majestic projects involving recovered human craft. These were the scientists who unlocked nuclear power. They were now, according to the papers, being asked to understand technology far beyond anything humanity possessed. The secrecy also appeared to have spread quickly beyond America. Days after the alleged Truman directive, Forrestal, Bush, and Army Secretary Kenneth Royal met Britain's chief scientific advisor, Sir Henry Tizard, at that time. After returning to Britain, Tizard proposed the Flying Saucer Working Party. Its chairman later wrote that, quote, following the lead given to us by the Americans, end quote, its work should, quote, it should receive, quote, as little publicity as possible. The provenance of the Majestic Archive remains disputed. However, we're finding more and more facts, Mike, as this moves on, that MJ-12 was real.
I would love if they would be able to produce an authenticated document that states that MJ-12 was organized by the U.S. government.
Yeah. Now, looking back, the first is that efforts to debunk the UAP topic have long formed part of the official response. According to Kaplan, this practice involved multiple organizations, including the CIA's Air Warfare Analysis Branch, an analytical component within the Weapons Counterproliferation Mission Center, also known as the WCPMC. Secondly, a small number of members of the Senate Intelligence Committee had been informed on a very limited scale on the recovery of UAP craft. Kaplan adds that some members of the House Intelligence Committee's CIA subcommittee have also been given access to such information. Thirdly, the WCPMC receives information from the State Department's Bureau of Intelligence and Research, which assists in its roles in studying the origins and agendas of types of non-human craft. One implication is that the Air Warfare Analysis Branch within the WCPMC, say that 10 times quickly, folks, which is alleged to have played a role in debunking the UAP topic, is also responsible for assessing the origins and characteristics of non-human craft. Now, finally, Kaplan claims that in 1994, during Bill Clinton's presidency, I'm not sure if this is before or after Monica or Jennifer Flowers or anybody else, the U.S. government learned that a craft had landed in Russia as part of an anticipated encounter and that its occupants had met members of the local militia. I haven't heard this story before. Have you, Mike?
Not in Russia, no. Nope.
Yeah. This claim echoes comments made by Dr. Eric W. Davis, a theoretical physicist, the guy who loves to eat so much salad, who is also a former Pentagon contractor and propulsion researcher, who stated that not all UAP recoveries involve crashes. According to Davis, some craft have simply landed, been recovered empty, while others, in other cases, occupants had allegedly left the craft behind. Now, Davis said, quote, 2/3 of crash recoveries or recoveries of UAP occur in the maritime. Well, you know what? Hold on. I've got a video of this. Maritime environment. So 2/3 of the recoveries are coming from the ocean or bodies of water, Mike. And that makes sense because pretty much we have 3/4 of the earth is covered by ocean. So that kind of goes together well. The other 1/3 recoveries are on the land, and they are not always a crash. Sometimes they just land, Davis said, and there is no UFO-nauts inside of them driving them. They're empty, and occasionally there might be UFO-nauts who have been known to walk away from the craft when they were inside. They walk away the craft walk away from the craft, and it is left there for us to recover. There have been very few crashes, actually, not that many. It's a very small number comparatively. So, Christopher Sharp of the Liberation Times has been informed about allegations that Russia also possesses a recovered Tic Tac craft. That's new. We've never heard that one before.
No, that is new. Never heard it at all from anybody.
Yeah. Liberation Times also understands national security, that at least one American embassy has sent a critic cable used for transmission of exceptionally urgent information to Washington concerning a reported UFO landing on foreign soil. It becomes clear in Kaplan's book that the CIA now plays a central role in the UAP legacy program, something previously reported by the Liberation Times. Not just that, they've talked about, the OGA, Office of Global Access, that was put together right after the story came out about this department. All the information was scrubbed from all the search engines. So there is a department within the CIA that focuses specifically on the recovery of downed UAP. Now, when asked by Liberation Times how he would advise the Trump administration today regarding the topic of UAP disclosure, Kaplan responded, quote, "They need to be prepared to agree with the Department of Justice that where public interest occurs, immunities should be offered if required to those lower down the ladder to enable them to come forward and speak to Congress and the FBI." In other words, Mike, we need whistleblower protections.
Yeah, no shit. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have specifically blocked those types of whistleblower protections from coming forward, so these people couldn't come out and speak.
So whether amnesty immunities are provided is currently a point of discussion amidst speculation that the Trump administration is contemplating such an action. End of the article. However, based on our sources, the language for that executive order is being authored, if it's not done already, Mike.
Yeah. We're just going to have to wait and see when or if that comes out.
In other words, we have to be patient?
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right?
And it's been going on for 80 years, more than 80 years.
Yeah, but you know what? Look at what we've gotten in the recent times.
Mm-hmm.
Not that long since the president got elected. We've gotten a lot of movement on disclosure that we haven't gotten before.
Right. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can actually talk about this article now. It was just too much, and yeah, we got to it, so let's get back to us again. Where are we at? There we go. No, here we go. All right, so regarding those posts, Christopher Sharp first said, having examined the historical architecture, secrecy, Kaplan turns the modern UAP debate and recent developments, presenting several revelations that closely align with allegations independently shared with the Liberation Times. The first is that efforts to debunk the UAP topic have been formed part of the official response. According to Kaplan, this practice has involved multiple organizations, including the CIA's Air Warfare Analysis Branch and an analytical component within the Weapons and Counterproliferation Mission Center. And secondly, a small number of members of the Senate intelligence community have been informed, but on a very limited scale, on the recovery of UAP craft. Now, that's one of the things we've heard from Mike Turner in the past. He was always worried about national security with regards to UFOs. He may have been informed, Mike. Didn't he used to chair the Senate intelligence community?
He was the chair of the House Intelligence, HIPSI, House Permanent Select Intelligence Committee. Mike Turner was not a senator.
Sorry.
He was in the House, Congressman Mike Turner from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kaplan adds that some members of the House Intelligence Committee's CIA subcommittee have also been given access to that information. Thirdly, the WCPMC receives information from State Department's Bureau of Intelligence and Research, which assists its role in studying the origins and agendas of types of human craft. One implication is that the Air Warfare Analysis Branch within the WCPMC, which is alleged to have played a role in debunking UAP topic, is responsible for assessing its origins and characteristics of non-human craft. Finally, claims that in we talked about this one. So, it's a interesting time to be alive and just see how many different parts of the government, Mike, are being fleshed out in the overall cover-up of the reality of non-human intelligence on this planet.
Right. Well, we already know the CIA's involvement in all of this.
Oh, God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find this video we played last night. Play it again. All right.
Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I had to do my Nick impression. I do have a poll on national security if you'd like to take a poll.
Yeah, do it.
All right.
All right, folks, we got a poll coming up from Daryl. No Anaplane Loon on it this time, but we promise in the future we will try.
There you go.
All right, here we go. Let me get the sound effect up and going and put my little taquito down, because you can't have national security without food, can you, Daryl?
Oh, no, you need a taquito for sure.
Oh, I'm right there with you. That's where I'm at right now, unfortunately. Where enough that going out? There it is. I got it. All right. Here we go. Where's the sound effects? Get this up and going. That sound effect means we've got a survey going, which means I'm going to go ahead and say these words. Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
1 minute.
Huh.
We're starting.
Did it pick me up?
Hear you at all. No.
That's amazing.
Not at all. None of the devices.
That's good. Maybe you've trained them. God damn it. Where did that go? Okay, where is our audience going? What is the poll? Do UFOs, UAPs pose a real national security threat? Yes, it's serious. No, it's not a threat. Or unknown, need more data. Well, if we look at that so far, 45% of our audience is saying it's unknown and we need more data. 28% of the of our audience is going along with the government saying yes, it does pose a serious threat. 28% is now is going over in second. Well, it's in second place at this point. No, it's not a threat. Syrup, your hand is up.
Sorry
Anyway,
about
national
that, Tom.
security. You said national security at least once.
Go ahead, Syrup.
Oh, I accidentally raised my hand. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it. Okay, makes it easy. With just 22 seconds left, our audience is coming in saying, no, it's not a threat for the second. And first, unknown, need more data. So, interesting.
Yeah, that's a realistic. I like the fact that 43% of the audience is honest. No, otherwise I'd have to go with the yes, because if you don't know, then it's a threat.
That is true. We'd have to ask, I guess, if it's always been here and it's always been doing this shit and we've known about this forever, I guess we can say it poses a national security threat, but it's been a known threat throughout the existence of our government of the United States since we've been around. Yeah,
at least. Didn't Columbus say he saw something crazy on the way over from?
Yes, he did. He did. All right, final numbers are in, and numbers actually did move a little bit. With unknown data, needs more is at actual 41%, and it's not a threat is 32%. So interesting. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate that survey to see where our audience sits on this.
Thanks for people participating.
Absolutely. On that note, let's go ahead and see where I'm going to go next. No, go back. Not that. There's nothing new going on really quick. I just checked X. Let me get to my bookmarks now. Here's a quick single tweet to go ahead and bring up and for us to go ahead and talk about. All right, here we go. If any civilization anywhere in the universe has ever created a von Neumann probe at a distant enough point in time, it follows that von Neumann probes are all around us and likely very interested in our planet. I believe this to be the case, which means basically saying if there is such a thing as a von Neumann probe, they should have found us by now, and we should be swamped with von Neumann probes at this point in time, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I thought von Neumann was that guy laying on the table, and the probe was the thing that was...
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right, we got it.
Sorry, there's a whole video behind that, people.
Yes. Next one, coming from Overclassified. Coincidence or silencing? Lockheed Skunk Works VP with NHI Crash Materials dies 2 weeks before meeting Christopher Mellon. Christopher Mellon was 2 weeks from meeting Lockheed VP James T. Ryder, who's also a Skunk Works vet in an advanced tech center when Ryder died of a heart attack on May 28th, 2018. Mellon said it was suspicious timing, but can't help but wonder. No specific foul play evidence, but coincidence raises questions. Ryder allegedly tried transferring 1950s plus non-human materials, probably from Kingman, from Lockheed to Osset Bigelow skiffs between 2008 and 2010. CIA's Glenn Gaffney blocked it among harsh threats. Is this a legacy program gatekeeping or tragedy? Rush's murder claims combined with this timing fuels massive speculation on protecting NHI and tech secrets. The disclosure fight continues, but didn't this just happen again when there was another individual who was getting ready to go ahead and meet with Congress, and they were from the DOE, and a week or two before they met, they also passed away?
Yeah,
Matthew Sullivan.
Yeah, Gross's bud.
Yep.
Not just him. Sorry, I need some food here.
You could at least tell us what you're eating.
The head of, it's taquitos from Azteca Restaurant. Yeah.
Looks good.
Right, absolutely. So, but that also happened with Kevin Childress, who was the head of security in one particular area for the Department of Energy. He was with a week or two among meeting with, I believe, Congress at that time, and he also met an untimely death.
Yeah, seems kind of crazy. I'm sure Mike Disclosure's detective abilities are probably, his spidey senses are up and aware on those.
Oh, you kidding me, Daryl? These people are dropping like flies. That doesn't seem suspicious at all.
Yeah, right. Who was it who said the other day, if it was 10 electricians or 10 plumbers, all associated together, there would be some eyebrows raised.
Yeah, just a little bit, you think?
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Edwin, go ahead. Kyle, or Ryan, I mean, your hands up.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
You may be muted, Edwin.
Anyway,
Ryan.
sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I got to change my screen name. So it's kind of a slow news day and all that. I was going to ask you guys regarding, I don't mean to change the subject, but you're talking about missing people. And wasn't it that you guys discussed on this show a couple weeks back that regarding McCasland, that the distance to, and now I'd like to see Mike's opinion because he's a former law enforcement, the distance to his doctor's office was too far for him to be back in time for, I forget what it was.
You're talking about his wife. She wasn't.
Can we put this question on pause for a second? Because we do have a section on McCasland we're going to cover.
All right.
If you saw the title card. Anything you want to talk about on this guy getting taken out?
The guy from the Department of Energy. There was another guy besides Sullivan, but no, I'll wait till you talk about McCasland and then.
Awesome.
I'd like to talk about the guy that won the hot dog eating contest, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. How many hot dogs did he eat, Daryl?
I have no idea. I was making that up.
All right. So yes, coincidence. Yeah, another person who has passed away. We'll get to that one. Avi's okay. I need to find the Shermer. I need to find the post here. Let me just go to X. Go to. There is a post that Shermer did about Grush, and God, who were the people who I had the gym shoes on who all committed suicide?
The
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah. Heaven's Gate. There you go.
There's a post on here. Gotta wait, Evan. You just had your hand up. Shermer has a quote out here where he just literally takes Grush and throws him under the bus and compares him to the leader from Heaven's Gate. And I know I had this tweet out here. Edwin, was that about that tweet?
Yeah, you already got it. I lowered my hand.
What did he say?
He lowered his hand.
Got it. I lowered my hand. I was going to mention that tweet
Okay.
by Michael Shermer, but you already found it.
All right. Yeah, Shermer.
What a schmuck. He's a schmuck.
Yeah, he's a schmuck, absolutely. So, God, all right, let me get back to my bookmarks again. Where in the hell was I just at? All right, so, let's skip on this one. My mind's not where it's going to take it. What I want to do is I had that video up here a second ago. All right, so here, we have that conversation with Eric Davis we talked about earlier when we were talking about the whole cover-up thing from the book. This is where Eric Davis actually made a statement about the UFOs in Russia, I believe. Or maritime, he's talking about 2/3 in a maritime environment, 1/3 are recovered on land. Sometimes there are not things inside. Let's play this clip.
2/3 of the crash recoveries or recoveries of UAP occurred in the maritime environment. And that makes sense because pretty much 3/4 of the earth is covered by ocean. So that kind of goes together well. The other 1/3 are recoveries from on the land, and they are not always a crash. Sometimes they're just land and there's no UFOnauts inside of them driving them. They're empty, and occasionally there might be UFOnauts who've been known to walk away from the craft when they're inside. They'll walk away and the craft is left there for us to recover. There have been very few crashes, actually, not that many, and it's very small in number comparatively.
There we go. So there it is, not just the words being quoted of Eric Davis, but him actually bringing out the truth and where a lot of this stuff sits. Edwin? Okay.
Edwin, if you're talking, you're muted.
That's okay. We're moving
I
on.
didn't hear you. I was just going to say, does anybody feel like Eric Davis is the Energizer Bunny? You just put a quarter into him and ask him a question and he'll answer anything?
No, he
He's
doesn't
like
take
Mr.
quarters. He takes lettuce. He likes salads.
He's like Mr. Knowledge, you know? Just put a quarter in him and he'll tell you anything you want to know.
No, give him salad. If you've ever seen any of the videos where they've had luncheons and they've had a lunch available for him to have, and it's a huge bowl of salad, he will be there shoveling his salad in his mouth like he's Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. He's like a rabbit, you know? But once he gets going, he spits out some information that a lot of people don't know. But man, his brain is just so full, it's about ready to explode. So,
who is it? Okay, hold on a second. The chat is being bombed by who, and where are our mods? Please. Mods, are you there? If you are, please wake up. And if we're being bombed in the chat, please take care of it.
Uh-oh.
Or we can have one less group of mods. Thank you. Maybe it's not being bombed, but I just want to go ahead and address that because the chat does show up on the screen. Oh, Daryl, you bombed the chat? All right, let's get back to this again. Where the hell was I
am bombed in the chat, man.
Oh, someone's bombed in the chat. You mean fuck elf?
Two old fashions into the chat. So.
All right, there you go. It's a new drink for you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry I don't mean to. So I like Angel's Envy old fashions. They charged me $30 for one at a restaurant here locally. And I'm like, fuck this. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to the liquor store. I'm buying all the same components and making it for a fifth of the price. So, yes, I'm really enjoying it right now. I'm enjoying capitalism at its finest.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. All right. Where else are we getting to? That's right. I was going to go ahead and play the video. God damn it. I put on the wrong. Christ. Let's get back to this. I've got a video clip I played last night. Actually, I downloaded it. That's where I put it. Let me go ahead and bring this video up. We played it last night. This is the guy who actually we were just talking about earlier, did all the research about MJ12 and all this stuff. We played this one for those who weren't with us last night. Enjoy it. If not, you're seeing it again. Let's just go through it one more time. Here we go. Get this up.
Book Not for Disclosure really is imparting a lot.
And keep your mouth on Miss Horsey here and how she pushes back on it.
Of the information I've had from insiders, and this is a very real phenomenon.
Where are they coming from?
Well, that's the second reason they can't really disclose, because although they've been researching this for a very long time, I think that the Americans really don't know, nor do the Chinese. It's a multi-source phenomenon. Part of it is extraterrestrial, part of it they really do not know. And Congress is talking about an interdimensional origin. They're talking about some kind possibly of universal collective consciousness, a form of intelligence we don't understand. But it would be very disturbing, I think, to say this is a real phenomenon and we don't know what it is.
Jonathan, it seems hard to me to understand how in a world of mass communications with social media, people making all sorts of revelations all the time, some true, some false. I mean, just look at the intelligence, the knowledge that we've had about the war in Iran, you know, how we were able to see in real time the build-up of men and material in the Middle East. It seems astonishing to me that if these claims are true, that they have not been revealed or leaked on social media in any way.
Well, they are true, and you'll find that in the last 2 years, since a man called David Grush, an intelligence officer, gave open sworn evidence to Congress about this, a number of other intelligence officers and very senior military figures have come forward to say exactly what I'm saying. And Marco Rubio has said, look, either these guys are crazy, or we've got some people here that have got, we're showing that Congress has been misled.
Everybody will be asking the same question. The wreckage of craft that found on Earth.
Yes.
Who was in it?
So there are some biologics have been found in the craft
Of what we would, when I was going, would call Martians.
Well, you can.
I have never seen someone who's part of an interview who's so fucking engaged. All she can do is stare at her laptop as she's going through who knows what.
Because she's on the Avi Lube education platform of Google, to find out what she's about to say next, which makes no sense.
Which means in all the life and everything that's out there, there is no life besides that on Earth.
I mean, just remember what he said yesterday in the video. I just Googled it, and so this is how it works. So, like, really? That's what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
Them alien life forms, if you like.
Yeah.
Dr. Eric Davis, a very senior physicist, has given evidence to Congress which accords with the literature that there's about 5 species that are well known. Paul Hellyer, who was the former Defense Minister of Canada, told me that he knew of 40 more.
Wow.
So there are very large numbers. And this is a subject, the lid amazingly has been kept on it, but it's about to blow off, and it's certainly blown off in my book.
Are they cleverer than us?
Some of them are. They must be, because the technology obviously is way in advance of ours. But they seem to show let's say a disinterest. But the real concern is what's the agenda. If they wanted to be hostile, they could have been by now.
You don't believe any of this, Miriam, do you? You're a skeptic.
I am a
Come
skeptic.
on, be skeptical.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical. I don't believe there's any other life out there. I think the conditions on Earth are so unique for biological life. It's difficult to understand them.
But we don't know what the conditions are like in the rest of the universe.
We don't. And I think, just taking your point, I mean, the conditions here are extraordinary. Just look at tropical fish, the hundreds, thousands of varieties. Is that natural order, or is this something that's actually been arranged here by an intelligence?
Or could it be to do with the uniqueness of carbon and oxygen bonding, which gives rise to restoration?
The uniqueness of oxygen and carbon binding that gives us the uniqueness of life on this planet? Are you fucking crazy?
The carbon is got oxygen. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, she looks so smile and smug.
I'm afraid my knowledge of chemistry seems to preclude the existence of other life. But who knows?
Get the squirrel! Get it! Get the cat!
No, that's good. It's the neighbors.
Do you think we will ever see one of these anomalous in our lifetime?
Well, many people have seen them. Many people have seen these craft. Many people have had claim to have had contact with aliens. There's two cases which are very well established by the intelligence services and which have been recently spoken about. One in Russia, one at Holloman Air Force Base, where, again, President Bush Sr. was briefed about that.
Okay, Chris, stop being a schmuck.
Somebody in the chat said she's an alien. I'm like, yeah, from the planet Equestria.
That would make her an equestrian.
Yeah. Do you believe in UFOs? Nay. No. I'm just saying.
There we go.
Wilbur. Does anybody have an apple? Anyone? Anyone have an apple? Maybe a carrot.
I've got that upstairs in the fridge. Sweaty nerd, your hand is up.
Yeah. This is the sign of the Aquarius. Listen, she don't know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? She's going off the computer, Google, or whatever. It's like, I hate when people do that. You know what I'm saying? Like before you can get on national TV, before you talk, do your research first. Like she just like, I don't know.
She's doing her research on the fly. I mean, she's doing it literally in front of them.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Like, that's crazy. Like how you going? Whatever.
You got her denying everything, and this guy calling things Martians.
Yo, he messed me up with that one. Martians?
Yeah.
I don't think nobody ever used the term Martian since the 1950s or 60s, right?
So at least there's, out of the three, at least there's one person who's intelligent in this recording, which doesn't bode well for our friends from the United Kingdom, but we do love them anyway.
Yes, we do.
This reminds me of what Tim Burchett says is in the skiff, they always send one person to be like a detractor, like somebody to be the person throwing shade at everything. Well, you've got people who are actually interested in the topic, and you got the one person throwing the shade, probably with a man bun.
Yeah, I can't forget the man bun guy. Absolutely. Let me see if I can find this. SATRMER. I want to look for people, and I want to go to people, and I want to search and say Grush. GRUSCH.
Half of California wants to fight Daryl right now.
Because
they half of them have man buns.
Oh. No, I didn't. At least I didn't say anything about I didn't say anything about goatees.
You haven't been in Seattle, apparently. No. And that's a good thing.
I've been in Seattle. I was thinking about you the other night. My first time in Seattle, I stayed at the Edgewater Hotel, just like the Beatles.
Trying to find it. Is it here? Trying to find stuff. We've got a bunch of stuff from Avi Lube coming out. I'm trying to find that one post that I saw earlier, and unfortunately I did not capture it. I wanted to get him the one where he's comparing Grush to the header from Heaven's Gate. Here's somewhere, I know it.
This is the time like Edwin could come up with a question.
No, it's okay. Don't encourage him.
You gotta.
No, he deleted it. Michael Shermer deleted it.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Well, all right. So let's leave it alone. I'm not going to be able to find that in my history. So
we can have Laura tell us about numerology. I was interested in the number she was talking about to reduce pain. I'll give that a try.
Yeah, a conversation before the show started, right?
Yeah, about that guy eating the hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what I can do to get back to my bookmarks and see what else we can go ahead and bring up. I actually probably have them over here. Let's get into it. Yeah, it was a rough night. No matter how I was laying last night, Daryl, I could not stop the pain.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope I don't get that. I have something where I sleep on my. Are you a side sleeper?
I tried left side. I tried right side. I tried lying on my back, and nothing could get rid of it.
What about lying on your front?
I can't because of my neck.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, if I lay on my right side, it's something in my leg. Just like in the last 6 months, it's like there's a pain there. I immediately had to go over the other side.
Well, in other news, something we can bring up. We got a video to watch here coming to us from our friends over at News Nation. We got a new clue in the missing and dead scientist mystery of Neil McCasland.
Is this the title card?
Well, no, it's not. You're not the title card. No. Here we go. It's something that was not on the title card, but in the description for the show, if anyone looked at it, besides saying Disclosure tonight. All right, here we go. Let's play this. And I'm going to put on a shirt that's a little bit thinner because I'm getting too hot now. Thank you, alcohol. You're doing a good job. Hold on. There we go. Here we go. Play it.
3 months since 68-year-old retired Air Force. 3 months since 68-year-old retired Air Force General Neil McCasland walked out of his New Mexico home, disappeared. The highly decorated general who once commanded a base reportedly tied to UFO research, vanishing without a trace, leaving behind his phone, his watch, a host of unanswered questions. His wife told police that her husband had been experiencing brain fog in the days leading up to his disappearance. But just last month, police body cam footage revealed this alleged meeting between McCasland and members of Space Force. And a supposed witness to the meeting said the general seemed to be out of character, acting spacey, acting quiet. So was the general's disappearance a simple medical episode, or was there something more sinister behind it? Well, Los Angeles Magazine has uncovered dozens of police records with new information about the case. And among them is a never-before-seen surveillance photo that is the last verified sighting of the general before he disappeared the next day. This could be a major clue in finally solving this mystery. Joining me now to discuss it, the journalist who broke the story, LA Magazine contributor, host of the Outlier podcast, Lauren Conlon. Always happy to see you. Thanks so much for taking time.
Wait a minute. Did they say the Elvira podcast?
No.
I think they did.
The Elvira podcast?
Contributor, host of the Outlier podcast, Lauren Conlon. Always happy to see you. Thanks so much for taking time.
Let me know if you find the Elvira one.
Yes, absolutely.
Where was this taken? Like, do you know where he is in it?
Yes. So he is at the store, REI, which is an outdoor type of store, a sporting goods store. And we don't know the exact location. I guess one could guess that it's the Albuquerque location, which is closest to him. But again, we're not certain. He appears to be carrying this white.
That's the problem, Daryl. That's why we lost McCasland. He didn't make that left turn at Albuquerque.
That's funny.
Package and a folded up white piece of paper. This yellow package you can kind of see underneath there as well. Online sleuths have determined, or speculated, I guess, that this could be a first aid kit, the yellow packet. Now, we're not sure. And in terms of the package he's holding, I mean, REI, you can order online and you can get it shipped to the store for with no shipping fees. And General McCasland was reportedly conservative with money, so that would kind of add up profiling-wise. And I was thinking,
and that's why it shows a picture that had been shipped in something like UPS in bulk, and why it's still in the package.
Studying this white piece of paper, maybe he printed out his receipt at home. He folded it up to bring it with him. I mean, Jesse, all of the files that I'm going through are breaking my heart. I have to say. I mean, it's like General McCasland was going through it. He was searching for doctors to sort of help him and guide him with what he was experiencing medically.
Do we know exactly what he was going through?
Well, he reportedly was experiencing the brain fog, but it was more than that. He felt like he was experiencing early signs of dementia, possibly, even though his doctor said he was sharp. He was still very, very, very intelligent and with it, but he was getting referred to different doctors about this.
Got a bunch of questions. Why is this the first time we're seeing this photo?
Hold on really quick here.
That's right.
He was complaining of brain fog. He was complaining of having a loss of strength and other stuff. He was losing who he was. And in a short amount of time, a gentleman like this dropped 25 pounds.
Yeah, for somebody that's losing their mind to go and, no, he didn't erase his phone, did he? Or did he erase his phone?
He left it behind.
He just left it behind. I don't know. I don't know, man. It seems very odd that for somebody that's got brain fog and all this stuff going on, that he imagines he's able to literally just disappear.
Yeah, interesting. Let's continue on.
I know you did a FOIA request, but it seems like a pretty big, important piece of information for the public to know, right? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just received this from the REI store. I mean, I will say the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, they seem to be doing a very, very good job, a very thorough job with everything that they're doing to investigate. I mean, they have talked to friends, neighbors, family, co-workers, and also just to point out, the woman that was at the dinner with General McCasland the night before he went missing, she was working with him on the board at Kirtland. The audio initially cut off of this call when it first circulated, and I heard the other half of it, where she said she wasn't sure what type of security clearance he still held, and she wasn't sure the last time that it was swiped, but the base would have this type of information. And
which means that, Daryl, if the guy is dead, would it be that much of a danger to national security if they stated what security clearances he had at that time?
No, it wouldn't.
No.
And we played the 911 call that was extended, that most of mainstream media left out. And we heard his wife saying it wasn't just that he was having brain fog, but he was having physical ailments as well, and that he told her he didn't want to live anymore, which was pretty cut
He
and
didn't
dry.
want to continue. Not that he didn't want to live. He didn't want to continue if this is where he was heading.
Yeah, because he wasn't getting the answers, it seems, that he was looking for from different doctors.
Right.
And I don't know why this Laura Conlon wants to make a point about how he was a cheapskate and didn't want to spend any money. What has that got to do with his case? Nothing. So she's just throwing dirt wherever she can.
I completely agree, Mike. I don't appreciate her disrespecting a general, and I didn't even serve in the dude's branch. So, I think she's just running her mouth to get clicks.
Yeah, I mean, look, him and his wife, they were living in a very modest home. It didn't seem like he had a lot of money socked away. And being, on a military pension, it's, he's not exactly Elon Musk.
Well, didn't he have two homes? Because one of them was where they found his other pair of hiking boots or something.
Yeah, it was a vacation home, I think, up in the mountains, like a cabin or something. It didn't sound too extravagant to me.
Okay. I think I've got a poll for this.
Yes, this would be a perfect time for a poll.
Does it include Anna Polina Luna?
Yeah.
Not yet.
No.
It should. We got to get her back on the poll.
Who we need to reach out to? We need to reach out to the guy. God, who does all the different title cards and stuff now for the Good Troubles show? Uplifting tweets.
Uplifting tweets.
Yeah, remember he used to do he does all the different stuff with AI. If anyone could pull that off, it would be him.
There you go. There's your poll. There's a poll.
We got a poll.
Was the general kidnapped and murdered, abducted by the government, or left on his own accord?
All right. That's a good one.
He was left on his own accord, as stated by his wife.
Yeah.
He wasn't kidnapped. He wasn't abducted. So the bottom answer is the only answer, Daryl.
Well, that's what you think. According to our remote viewers in the back, they had said he was actually asked to leave by the government and went back into, the deep state, if you want to call it, to go ahead and work on some things and train some new people. So, hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and see where this is going to go. Yes, Daryl?
The character limit on these is really short, so you got to be, like 3 or 4 in the answers.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Shit, too long.
Because abducted by the government is exactly what you said. I'm thinking abducted by the government and put into a very important job.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
I'm sorry, I agree with Mike here as like a 2-branch veteran. I'm going to tell you, the government doesn't want to abduct me because I'm just going to go back there and be a fucking pain in the ass. So I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to smoke pot. I'm going to cuss everybody the fuck out and fight everybody. So
but this would give him a cause.
If a general didn't want to be back there, he's not going to help them. He's just not. They're going to have to shoot him. So.
Yeah, but this would give him a cause, something to make him feel better, something to make him forget about the loss that he might be having.
Nah, bro, I'm sorry. Military service is too fucked up. I'd rather be home smoking a blunt.
Okay, cool.
Of course, this guy was a brainiac, right? He led the Air Force
Research Laboratory.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would love to think that he would go home and smoke a bowl, but because I'd love to be there and talk to him about his day, but I doubt that. I don't think he was the type, and I don't think his wife was the type for sure. She's too buttoned up.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you there, but I'm just saying, like, for a general to get kidnapped, it's going to be hard to make that guy do anything, regardless of your rank. Even if you were higher and you took him, which is an illegal, you're like, what are you going to do, man? The guy, like you said, he had brain fog. It didn't seem like he wanted to do much. I'm not buying that they took him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it.
Well, that timer going off just put a little reminder that I've got a occipital migraine kicking in.
Oh,
so
great.
on that note, I get to go do some refill. Oh, fuck. I already took meds before the show started, Mike. It's already started here, and it's already starting to creep around. So I need to get some more national security. What can we talk about in the meantime?
Well, we could talk about just security before we move off from McCasland. I just want to make a quick point, Darryl. You're talking about a 68-year-old military person who had credentials, high security clearances, important job, wasn't an idiot. He made the rank of general, unlike Colonel, who couldn't get past colonel. So he has some accomplishments, but then he was also known as an outdoorsman, somebody who was physically fit and in good shape. And all of a sudden, in the last 8 or 9 months of the year, that he started to experience a decline and started seeing different doctors and wasn't getting the answers that he was looking for and was slipping away. That would also be a strain on the marriage, because if it is dementia has a big impact on relationships with the people closest to you. And on top of that, he himself would probably be going through, if he couldn't get an answer, probably going through deep depression, which automatically leads to, when you get that depressed and feel there's no way out, you start thinking of the only answer could be to end everything in a way, in a place that he was most comfortable, which was the great outdoors. So this is not a mystery to me. And it's pretty clear what his mental state was before he died.
Do you think his wife had any part in his Kevorkian moment? I mean, is he, because she, to whoever was talking about the doctor's office being farther away, I mean, there are some like real weird things going on with the wife. Do you think she drove him off? Like when she went to the doctor's appointment, he got in the car in the back and he huddled down and she drove him somewhere else. And I mean, what's the...
No, there was no, we saw recently people, his neighbors, were talking about the area that he lived in before they produced these developments over there, was all horseback riding country. And they created, when they put the developments up, there was right near his house, as a matter of fact, there was like a tunnel that they built that would be able to have like 2 people on horseback riding side by side, and it would not be seen when you're up on land, and it would take you right to the trails that he used to go to. So it's possible that when his wife left and went to the doctor's office, he decided to leave everything behind, take this tunnel into the trails, and disappear.
But you
which
think
it
there's
seems
no way
like that's what happened.
You don't think there's any way that it could have gotten should have been picked up on somebody's Ring door cam, or maybe we're just not understanding how dense the population was in his neighborhood?
No, it was the fact that the way that they designed this tunnel for horseback riders to get from where the houses are to the trail, he would have been in there, nobody would have seen him.
But you think he could have gotten that tunnel without him getting picked up on a Ring camera or anything, huh?
Well, there were no Ring cameras that the police, they scoured the entire neighborhood.
Right, I know they did.
There was no sign of him appearing on any cameras at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And unfortunately, look at Nancy Guthrie, right? Look how Ring helped Nancy Guthrie. It really didn't. So, and
well, at least
there was no tunnel
foul
involved.
play there.
Fair enough. I do agree with you there, bro. I do. You're right. And it did show something. So there is some weird shit going on. I do agree with you. There is some weird shit, but I just don't think that he's back at work like just, oh man, I miss this shit so fucking much. No, hell no.
No, I can see that. I totally understand that viewpoint. I'm just wondering, how does he disappear? That's what I'm curious about.
Well, look, if you remember when they were doing the search and rescue, the problem that they were having with the FLIR cameras on the helicopters was the temperature was so high that they weren't able to pick up his body in the on the trails. So if that was the case, and he knew that he could be up there and they wouldn't necessarily find him. Now, if the wildlife that's also very prevalent on those trails got him or his body, they wouldn't pick up or find anything. This could have been something he figured out and did on his own. And if that's the case, I mean, look, what is it, 3 months already? If his body was readily visible, we're in, what is it? So it's 6 months. Yeah. So this is ridiculous. They didn't find the body, which means that by now they haven't found it. They're never going to find it.
Nope.
That's simple.
Yeah.
So
could somebody say that? Do we know? Did he have he must have had top secret clearances, right?
Not towards the end. He was retired he retired, I think, back in 2013. So 13 years later, he doesn't have to necessarily have clearances.
You know, Mike, how that works. So you get out, and like somebody in the chat said, Wolfie, once you're out, you're still in, kind of. I think at that level, McCasland probably had like a government contracting job, right? And so I think he still maintained his clearances. And I also heard one of his employees on like a 911 deal saying that, yeah, he's a big deal and he still got, I doubt that all of his clearances were cut off. That's what I'm saying.
Well, look, we know that if you want to keep your tickets punched when you leave military service, you have to be working directly for the government, and you have 2 years to have those clearances renewed. And if he didn't do that because he wasn't working, look, we know that he was also volunteering his time in organizations that he wasn't getting paid for.
But
and then
Mike,
he
also was involved in a lot of organizations, but he stepped back from them because he knew what he was dealing with. His mind wasn't as clear. He didn't have the energy that kind of got there. Yeah.
Right. So that alone tells me he wasn't in any active job for the military. And he probably didn't have his clearances at that point because he didn't need them. So
there isn't any government program, is there, that if you had top secret clearances, top secret things, and you get dementia, that you're on the got to take you out list because there's no telling what you might say at church or over coffee or
maybe
something else?
Well, nothing public, Darryl, but we know the CIA has a kill list. There was a whistleblower that used to work for the CIA. His name is John Kirikou, and he's come out since he got out of jail because he went to the mainstream media and told the news that the CIA was torturing the people on the Patriot Act to get information on the war on terrorism. And the CIA, they prosecuted him, and he went to jail. And he came out, and now he's on the podcast circuit. He said that he knows for a fact that the CIA has a weekly meeting every Tuesday of the people that they are going to have assassinated. And a committee votes on it. and that takes place during the week, and then the following week they follow up on the next people on that list. So that's a very real thing. But McCasland wasn't in the CIA or wasn't directly involved with them or involved in any of the work that they do. So I don't think he would have been a target for them. And again, I believe he didn't have his clearances.
I don't think cops love drama. Cops love looking at his situation and trying to figure out what it is, right, Mike?
Right. We try to do the puzzle. It's always like solving a puzzle, solving the pieces of the puzzle, putting them together, seeing what fits, what doesn't fit, patterns, things like that. It's logic,
Mike, I got
evidence.
a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, wait, before you, wait, Edwin, hold on a second. So there's somebody in the chat. Damn it, I can't point up. I can't get up.
Who is it?
Can't make it go up there. It's Arrow something or other. Anyway, he said that he was in charge of the SAPOC or something like that.
Aaron?
And that he had full access to all of the sensitive secrets that America has.
General McCasland. Okay, there's his first one. He's got 13 posts here. Let me turn off the auto. They're hiding from Tim Burchett. Okay, that's his next one. Next one, he says Air Force Acid Protocol, protect first. Next one, he said, no, not that one.
I've been talking to him.
Aaron
He
the
seems
Guru
like
said next he was
member.
meant to speak at congressional hearing with Tim Burchett and then gone. Let's go on to the next one, what Aaron is saying. General was in charge of everything ZPE, Zero Point Energy, and Arrow, and no, fuck no. If they're working on 0 Point Energy, that ain't going to be in the fucking Air Force. That's going to be in the Department of Energy. Final answer on that one. So that one, Aaron is talking out his ass.
Right.
Let's see the next one. Give him thumbs up 100%, 100%. Yes, Corporal Abe said he had heavy responsibility. And then the general is safe within the system. He said it's 729. And then Patriots, he had said next, followed by mutual consent to disappear, which aligns with what Laura was saying in the back from the remote viewing community. And McCasland, executive secretary for the SAPOC, in charge of the oversight and review body with full preview of all of America's most sensitive and secretive knowledge capabilities and programs. And the last one, yep. So
yeah, that's complete horseshit. It's not correct. It's not accurate.
See, I actually can go back in the chat for the entire show and bring up.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
No, listen, like you said last night on the show, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. So this is just somebody's opinion.
Everyone has two. You're either speaking out one or the other.
Right. That's right. You're entitled to your opinions, but it doesn't make it accurate. Go ahead. Ryan, go ahead.
As a former cop and detective or whatever you were, as a cop, what would you think about him leaving his glasses at home?
Why did he
Everyone
leave?
has multiple pairs of glasses, not just one.
Right.
He left a set of glasses at home, not all of his sets of glasses.
And I will say there is something to the SAPOC thing. It does I'm using my Neil deGrasse Tyson, no, not Neil deGrasse Tyson, Avi Loeb Google educational program. Retired Air Force Major General. Blah,
You mean
blah,
you're pulling out your history to the the planet Equestria?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going by what the AI overview says. It says he served as the executive secretary and director for the Special Access Programs Oversight Committee, SAPOC, starting in 2009. In this role within the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, he had purview over America's most classified and secretive programs.
Right. At the time before he retired, not after.
Right. But I mean, I can imagine, there's some things that are probably still secrets. I'm just saying, I think I never really thought about it until tonight that this is in the book of possibilities, that he knew, hey, I'm getting dementia. I'm now going to be on the list. That would make me stressed out.
As my grandmother was going through, she broke her shoulder. And then since then, she kind of went through a lapse in cognitive. And the problem was that the person who was helping take care of her was Polish. And then she would jump back into like she was a younger person and talking in Poland and all those memories for that. And she talked about it freely, not realizing where she was and everything that was going on. But the only time she ever came out of it, Daryl, was when I came to visit, and she remembered everything. So, when someone gets in dementia or different areas, my aunt was in it too.
I've been around
they're in a
people
bubble.
with dementia.
Everything that's around them that just happened, they don't remember. But everything that happened in the past after a certain date, they remember, and that's all they talk about. So if someone is in that bubble where they're no longer able to have the conversations about the memories of what's going on now, and they keep on confusing it and talking with things that have happened in the past, and as you go further and further through dementia, that bubble of where the past begins goes further and further back in your life. And if that was happening to them, it could be a reason why they may have taken them out.
I never thought of it, but I mean, it makes kind of logical sense. It's something else, that Rick Doty said when I asked. I said, don't they chip these guys who have been exposed to this sensitive information? It surprises me that they don't do that. And Rick Doty said, who says they don't? So, yeah.
Yeah, no. I have a feeling he was a very proud man.
Yeah.
And when he went through decline and realized there was no way out, that it probably had a very deep impact on him psychologically.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm sorry to hear, Grateful Benny, you have a fusion from T4 to L2. That's, oh my God, that's like from your from your shoulders all the way down to like below your mid back. That's a bad fusion. Mine is only like between C5, 6, and C6, 7. But as you can see, this is within 6 months after surgery. This is C5 in your neck. This is C6, and this is C7. But you can see that C6 itself is on an angle. It should be more flat going through here, but it's stuck in that particular area. The problem is when they sized the artificial discs from here, they got the wrong size. That's why it took 4.5 hours for my surgery instead of 3 hours, and why this happened 6 months after surgery. Now, this here, because it's in this orientation, you can see at this particular point that this disc, this artificial disc, is putting a lot of pressure on the bottom of C5, and it's also putting a ton of pressure on the top of C7. And because of that, it's actually causing additional central canal irritation for my spinal cord. And when that goes on in different things, at times it'll start in the back and it'll give me a occipital migraine, which is like in the back of your neck that kind of goes over that way. At the same time, I'll get the one that's a trigeminal that hits your face. So it's not about drinking. It's not about different things. It's a mechanical issue, an engineering issue that I'm dealt with, and this is how I have to deal with it. Now, if I had gotten fusion, I'd probably be in a lot worse case because I wouldn't have the issue going on here and here. I'd be having the discs above and below degrading, because when they fuse you, the discs above and the discs below take all the force when you would have multiple discs going, which then leads with a degradation of the discs above and below, and you ended up getting fused then from the bottom, the base of your skull, all the way down to your T-spine. That's the kind of shit I'm dealing with. So I thought I'd share it because a bunch of people are saying, hey, try this or try this. I shouldn't do this. No, I'm dealing with an engineering issue that can't be fixed. And the only way they can fix this is to literally go ahead and put in a bunch of bars going up and down my neck. And they can then go ahead and put in, basically fuse me from like C5 to C7, if not above and below that, and put in bars in the side. The only thing I'm missing is the Frankenstein thing sticking out of the side of my neck.
The bolts.
The bolts. Hey, but if they make me feel good,
yeah,
I'll do it all the time. All right. Got that one. Sorry to interrupt in the whole conversation on McCasland. But McCasland is Interesting situation. And let's hear the rest of Lauren, see what she says, and take it from there. Here we go.
And, you know, I also want to point
Go
out
ahead, Mike.
just a couple other things.
I was just going to say it's a tragic case. That's how I see it.
Absolutely, 1,000%. Michael? Yeah, you had your hand up for a while. Sorry, we haven't called on you.
I just wanted to say that I totally agree with Mike's speculation on this. It makes the most sense.
Thank you, Michael.
Where the hell is this? Give me 1 second here, guys. Mike, let me put the rest of this video on, and here we go.
General McCasland was making future plans. He was. However, he was canceling plans as well. And the one thing that I also was kind of focused on is the fact that this repairman was actually an electrician. This repairman was said to be one of the last
at his house hours before he disappeared.
Yes, one of the last people to sort of, interact with him. He was an electrician. He was fixing a battery on a solar panel that the McCaslands had bought recently. And General McCasland was frustrated because it wasn't working, and he got upset with this electrician and kind of said something to him which was out of character for him. And his wife had said, it's fine. Let's just, when I get back from my appointment, we'll go to the gym. It'll be fine. And he said, okay. And then she kissed him goodbye.
And she comes home and he's gone.
Mike, that's the first we've heard. Before they said it was an appliance repairman, wasn't it?
Right. Yes.
And now it was a solar repairman. I thought she had gone to a doctor's appointment, but apparently she has gone to the gym.
Yeah, it seems to be changing every time something comes out, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Really is odd that this keeps changing to the degree that it does.
Yep. Hey, Scooby, you're saying a lot of things in the chat. Why don't you raise your hand and talk about it here?
But yeah, her story is changing. She's the one who said she went to a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck your doctor, Michelle. Artificial discs are not a hot rod. If you're going to get multiple levels of fusion, you want to get our artificial disc at least at one level to keep the movement going. If you're dealing with a doctor who's telling you that an artificial disc is a hot rod, it's someone who doesn't want to learn new skills. They want to continue on their journey, not have to retrain themselves and figure out new things. Find another surgeon. Find somebody else who understands what's going on. You have to help our audience, right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, Thomas. You've dealt with it, so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Too much so. So much so.
Yeah.
All right, where in the hell are we? All right. Anything else we haven't covered?
Mike, don't you find that interesting though that she said she went to a doctor's appointment to now it's the gym? That's she said that it's both, they were both seeing this doctor, and now she just went to the gym.
According to this Conlon person, she said that his wife Susan told him to calm down because he was angry about the battery not working on the solar panel, and she said when she comes back from going out, they'll go to the gym when she returns. Meaning him and her.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right. Back to Shermer, who has actually been brought on the panel of the scientific committee for the evaluation of UAPs and data and stuff. Well, I couldn't find the tweet. I'll find a screenshot of it eventually. In Grush we trust. I'm all for skeptics joining the conversation, provided they don't compare whistleblowers to Heaven Gates cult leaders and approach the topic in good faith with an open mind. The attack on Grush leaves me more skeptical of his motives. He gave no apology either. So yeah, this is something where we've got someone who was brought on to Avi's scientific council to help guide the government, but the guy has been called himself as a skeptic, but he is actually, someone who's more than a skeptic. He is someone who does personal attacks on whistleblowers, and he has no business being a part of the scientific panel, irrespective of he's a skeptic or not. He's someone who attacks people unjustly and doesn't belong in that role. Now, right. Avi Loeb was asked about this in the interview today with Matt Ford on the Good Troubles show, and he would not answer.
Of course he wouldn't. He'd have to admit that that was a mistake, and he won't do that.
Right. So we've got a skeptic on there. Not as only as he's a skeptic, he's a skeptic who attacks whistleblowers. Like
he's
David
a troll
Grush,
and a
not
debunker. Good. Not a good person to have on that committee.
Sweaty Nerd, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. It's like, I don't know. It's like he done switched a page or something like. Because in the beginning, he was, I remember when he first came out, started talking about, the so-called asteroids or whatever, or meteors in space or whatever, claiming that there was alien beings and this, that, and third, and all that. Now all of a sudden, when he got appointed to this council, he just did a whole 360. Kind of remind me of Heinrich. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. So it's like they're again playing this, deep dark, let's play this role, cover up type shit, and it's all a bunch of bull crap. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like by him getting on there and got to look up Google and all that, just to, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's going on over here? So yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. He's I don't know what's going on, but at the same time, I think he's getting paid. He's getting paid for this. You know what I mean? Either he's not getting paid handily, the cash, but he's getting that funding that he needs. So
yeah,
he's got to be getting something to do this. Yep.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Like how you go from saying, yeah, 3 Atlas is aliens and this, that, and the third, until now I'm debunking all the whistleblowers and the Tic Tacs and all this. Like, come on, man.
It is a Chinese balloon. It is prosaic. Everything is prosaic. Yeah, that's not a good position to take.
Man, it's like, and the thing is, like, I want to, and be honest with you, I like Avi Loeb, but it's like, now it's like, bro, you just like switch over.
You really like Avi Loeb?
I know. I mean, I really did, but now he's starting to like really piss me off, like with the bullshit he's saying.
We'll help you open your eyes to all the different things Avi has been doing. He called the Tic Tac. It was a photographic anomaly because the object should have gone when they went from 80,000 feet down to 50 feet. It should have been bursting in a fireball. He used the exact same excuse when dealing with the observations that were coming from the Academy of Sciences in Ukraine. He's a schmuck. He teamed up with Kirkpatrick on many papers and stuff. So it shows he's a paid shill. He's in it with the intelligence agencies and the Department of Defense to go ahead and cover this stuff up.
Some people might call him some people might call him
Avi Loeb.
Well, no.
Because he's greasing everybody. Oh, a bullshit artist. Yeah.
What'd you call him?
Somebody might.
Bullshit artist. We have that, yeah.
Oh, you
mean, I was trying to lead you, man.
You don't mean Avi Loeb is... What is the assessment of Avi Loeb?
Oh, a bullshit artist.
There you go. Is that what you're looking for?
Favorite.
Because he's always going to say...
We ain't found shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's that turtle at? I need that turtle. That's what I need.
Yeah.
That's what I need. I need that
All
turtle.
right. Switching it up a little bit to help the people have some more stuff to go ahead and talk about today. Let's take a look at one of the things. We've got the interview with Christopher Mellon that we haven't gone through completely, and I wanted to see one of the things was aliens, Chris, our CIA and DOE following the president's orders for document release. Before we get there, Syrup has his hand up, and it's important. Syrup?
No, I just wanted to say something real quick. No, one of the things that bothers me with these skeptical people is they can't even acknowledge the fact that it possibly could be human technology either.
No, Avi says it's human technology all the time.
But he won't, for example, the Tic Tac, right? He can't even acknowledge that there might be hidden technology that the deep state or whoever, DARPA, whatever, knows about that he's just not privy to. It's like
because he looks at it from a constrained view within the known physics. He's not willing to open his mind to say, man, there may be things that man hasn't been able to figure out yet. Let's look at what's going on. You know, I love to get Avi Loeb to go ahead and talk about what his observations and thoughts are for the 2.5 minute video that came out of Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Great call, my friend. Now let's get to this one clip. Christopher Mellon talking about how are the CIA and DOE following the president's release. Let's see what he says.
Okay, this is from our aliens, Sam Jones 2. Chris, this is for you. CIA and DOE have been noticeably absent from the first 2 tranches of files released. Is it safe to assume that they are refusing to follow the president's order? Are there ways to compel them to participate?
Great question. There's some wrinkles in this. As many of you may know, the classification authorities and process for the Department of Energy are entirely distinct from the Defense Department and the intelligence community. They have legislation that mandates their classification system in law. The other agencies are under an executive order. A little easier perhaps for the president to direct them to disregard classification markings than an organization like DOE, which has to meet the letter of the law mandated by Congress regarding classification issues. I'm not an attorney. I don't know if Hunt wants to pile on this, but I suspect that may be one of the reasons it's taking longer with DOE. They certainly have a lot of material to contribute. There have been lots and lots of sightings over decades and decades around DOE facilities, and they need to get on board. And they're within the administration. The president's guidance goes to them as well. I don't think they're in a position to refuse the president anyway. I think more likely it's bureaucratic and legal issues that are dragging it out and making it causing it to take longer there. CIA is a different story. They don't have that issue to point to justify any delays. So I'm surprised we're not seeing more there. The resistance may be stronger there in terms of getting material out. The classification issues may be a little more burdensome. But I think I'll be very surprised if they don't whip everybody into line in the weeks ahead.
The more interesting the documents, the longer it takes to get them. That's basically.
Was that actually an answer, Mike? It sounded like he was just.
It was actually a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
He said it's coming in a few weeks, so it's moving forward. That's good news.
Which means we got a UFO release last Friday, right?
Right.
We're not going to see one this Friday.
No.
We may see one next Friday or the Friday after. So.
Right.
But we're probably not going to see one right before the 4th of July because the whole party thing the whole party town.
250th anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to throw a monkey wrench into these files coming forward.
Now, Leslie, the next question is, has Congress taken any action besides what Jordan would say? Congress is inept on this. They are completely incapable of bringing out the truth. Are we? That's a good way to put it, right?
Absolutely. Right. We've known that the whole time, that Congress is not able to do anything on the subject. They have no authority, no budget, nothing.
Oh, they are.
And they're not motivated. They have no interest in moving disclosure forward.
Hold on.
And I just want to say that Tim Burchett put out a public statement recently that Thomas and I were talking about privately. And he is, for the first time, making a plea for anybody that believes in disclosure and the work that he has been doing on his own with this subject to contribute whatever they can towards his reelection campaign, because he's not getting big money from the Republican Party.
Right, because probably because he's in charge of Doge, but he's also in charge of he's involved with bringing out the truth about UAP. On that note, we got a survey that I actually put together, and there's only two choices. Congress regarding UAP is dysfunctional, like EDS, or they can deliver change. Would you look at that with only... Are you fucking kidding me? We only have 12 votes in? What happened to our audience? Do we still have people watching? 385 people watching. We only have 13 votes in. Daryl, something's wrong.
Well, I think they were waiting for you to explain REUAP.
Regarding UAP. Congress regarding UAP legislation.
And also EDS.
Dysfunctional, like erectile dysfunction syndrome.
Oh, erectile dysfunction, because there is Ross Perot's company, EDS, in Dallas.
Yeah, so they're dysfunctional, like erectile dysfunctional system versus being they can deliver change.
All right, Ferrari, we have to make a informed decision here. What are we going to choose?
They're dysfunctional. Congress? They try and they can't get shit done. They've been trying to bring forward the truth and get laws and legislation put in for 3 fucking years, and what have they accomplished, Daryl? Fucking nothing. Yeah. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, but there hasn't been anything. Yes, Brain Sheehan, Project Blue Pill. Maybe that's what we need, or maybe it's not Blue Pill. It's not potent enough. Maybe we need Project Cialis. And this is Cialis, by the way, 30 milligrams.
Do any of those things, things,
72 hours.
But are you consulted by any turtles by any chance on any particular after side effects from those drugs?
Oh, turtles? We got turtles.
Yeah, because the sweaty nerd wanted this.
Tell your doctor about lightheadedness, weakness, fever, pain, tenderness, redness, or swelling between the anus and genitals.
That's right, the anus and genitals.
Yeah, between the anus and genitals, it's called the taint. Because it taints your anus and it taints your pussy or your... That is the word, the taint, right?
Yes, it is definitely in the, what do you call it, the Urban Dictionary, if it's not in the real dictionary. Yes.
All right, but I think our audience finally got it. Congress regarding UAP is dysfunctional, like erectile dysfunctional syndrome, or they can deliver change. 13% says yes. I don't think it's going to change anywhere. I didn't set a timer, but, well, we're having fun anyway.
Don't forget to subscribe to the show.
Do us a favor, folks. If you've been watching the show, you're having a fun time enjoying me struggle through a show with, actually, you know what? It worked. Struggles through the show until I had enough alcohol to have my words slurring and actually be out of pain. Please do us a favor, folks. Give us a subscribe if you haven't. We're like stuck at
18.1. You're stuck at 18.1.
18,129. We've been there for days. At least we're not going down. If you're having a fun time, you've been hanging out, do us a favor, folks. Give us a subscribe. And if you haven't gone and literally hit that thumbs up, please do, because we only have 374 viewers and 2,000 people who have actually watched the show so far. And we're at 160 likes. Come on, guys. Girls, we know that 8 people on TV who are watching on the TV, I know they can give a thumbs up. Can't they, Daryl?
Yes.
So come on,
100%.
Press the button, bring up the UI, hit the up arrow, go left once, and hit that thumbs up. We would really appreciate
Press the button.
Not too hard. Right? I think so.
No. And as Mike always likes to tell you, there's a money-back guarantee.
A double your money-back guarantee.
Oh,
Mike,
it's
what
double
is it?
this week.
Hey, Mike, tell us more.
I'm busy.
The cost is always free.
Barbie.
Oh, besides that, yeah.
There we go. We haven't heard this one in
The
a while.
price is always free, and we give you a double your money back guarantee. So it's a win-win situation if you're enjoying the content and the program. You have nothing to lose. So
Yeah,
please,
haven't played this
like
one in
and
a while.
subscribe. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So we got that one done with Leslie Keene. Let's get rid of my neck injuries and let's go ahead and see what else we've got going on here. Why should lower level witnesses trust the process? Why should lower level witnesses trust the process? Let's hear let's get into see what Christopher Mellon says.
And we are we've put a policy memo on our website discussing this issue, and we have legal resources available to anyone who seeks to be a whistleblower. We're happy to advise them on their rights and options under the law. We have a confidential email address that goes to one of our attorneys, and I'll put that out there: foundationsecure@proton.me. One of the things we point out in our policy memo is that nobody has ever been prosecuted for providing classified information to Congress.
No, they've only been killed, right, Mike? If they really know what's going on, they get killed before they can even talk to Congress.
Yeah, but you know what? David Grush testified under oath to Congress, and the Air Force still tried to prosecute him under the Espionage
but
Act.
what happened before he prosecuted? They were invading his house. His wife walked in on someone planting shit in their house. They put freaking air tags on his wife's SUV to track where she was. They had drones flying around the house. They left threatening messages on their kitchen table and took the ashes for one of their dearly departed loved ones and put it in the trash.
So, yeah, that's part of the retribution that the government likes to instill fear in people who come forward as whistleblowers. That's why they need whistleblower protections more than what they have in place right now, because obviously it's not enough to stop that kind of actions being taken against people coming forward.
It never is it?
No, it is not.
Continue on a little bit. Here we go.
In
We're
appropriate settings.
We're in overtime now, so let's see how this goes.
So I think some of the fears and concerns are overblown in some cases. Most non-disclosure agreements, if you read them carefully, actually have a segment that says Congress this isn't binding on Congress, that you can't tell anybody, but if you're brought before Congress, you can speak to Congress about it. So I've brought multiple people to the Hill over the years, names that you know, and Arrow. Brought Eric Davis, for example, back in 2019 to the Hill, who to meet with staff of two committees to tell him some of the extraordinary things that he has to say. And I don't think Eric has suffered any retribution of any kind for that. And I've done that with a number of people. And I've not suffered any retribution myself, although I was investigated by the Air Force Office of Special Investigation. My clearance was flagged for a while in the system. I had trouble getting into a couple meetings for a little while. So administrative responses are something that is still an issue and a risk for potential whistleblowers, and we recognize that. There is some legislation being put forward, which we support, to try to provide additional protections, lawful protections for potential whistleblowers. So it's a bit of a complex legal issue, but my personal experience and most of the people I work with has been that they've not had a problem. In fact, I would say once you connect with Capitol Hill and the committees and the members, if anything, you're safer. They're much less likely to want to take you on or mistreat you in your organization. Because that'll instantly come to the attention of Congress, and the That's not a good thing. There's nobody in the executive branch who wants to be on the wrong side of Congress or be under their magnifying glass. So I think you're actually, in some cases, probably safer once you actually do engage with the Congress. However, different people have different experiences and come from different organizations that face different risks. It's hard to cover all of that. I think we could also, one of the concerns I've heard is a financial concern that is addressed in the legislation. And sometimes people need things like travel money, and that's something we might be able to help with in some individual cases. Hunt, I don't know.
Wait a minute. They're the Disclosure Foundation. They've got money coming in. They're supposed to be spending it on whistleblowers and protecting people and everything else. Otherwise, what is the money going for unless they're not really generating? You know, Mike, we haven't seen? We haven't seen a report from the Disclosure Foundation of the money they've received and how it's been spent.
You're right.
We need to look into that. Seriously.
It's an interesting idea. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. They've been around long enough. They've already gone through at least one filing earlier this year for last year's taxes. We got to find that.
Yeah, we'll see what they put in there.
Yeah. And by the way, the schmuck in the upper right corner is the replacement for Ivan Hanel.
Yeah.
He's the chief legal officer of the Disclosure Foundation, a.k.a. the new Ivan.
Right. But the old Ivan knew what he was doing, and I don't think this schmuck does.
Yeah.
If you want to comment on this, you're probably, it's a very complicated legal situation.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is right. We to be clear, we could spend this whole discussion from that question, Leslie. Let me try and put a thermometer in.
Sorry, I can't see anything except the gap between his front teeth.
Into the frustration that I sense from that question, which is, why can't they just come out and do it and say it, and why can't we just get this over with, versus they can't do it at all because all these things will happen to them. That's really like a very significant discussion that we have on the legal side. We want to be clear that providing information to Congress, we are very confident and have a lot of data and citation and authority to back that up, that is a correct and appropriate method for individuals with information. And I will just, that's not my legal theory. That's not like a policy memo. Like, Title 5, okay, Chapter 72 of the United States Code says verbatim, the right of employees individually or collectively to petition Congress or a member of Congress, or to furnish information to either House of Congress or to a committee or member thereof, may not be interfered with or denied. Okay, that's black and white federal law. That's not a legal theory. That wasn't a policy memo I read. That's the starting point for this idea. Okay, and so let's be clear though. That's the appropriate method and avenue for this information to flow. If someone chooses to go out and simply provide information to the public that they have access to, that is a totally different scenario, right? And there are considerable legal implications in that scenario that people need to be concerned with. But in terms of providing it to the members of Congress appropriately, we feel very strongly and have a lot of authority that is the appropriate method. Now, here's a frustration. Another frustration. Well, once you give the info to these members of Congress, they don't do anything with it and they sit on it. Now, that's a real frustration. I think I could name a few individuals specifically that would echo that frustration. And unfortunately, with respect to that, there's not much we can do once we give it to Congress. We have to have the operate under the assumption that when they do get this information, that they do the right things, they pass the right laws, like any other subject.
Wait a minute. He used the assumption word, which means if it's wrong, it makes an ass out of you and I. Never assume if you're a lawyer. Never.
Right. Plus, he's leaving out the fact that David Grush came forward to Congress, testified under oath, and they still denied his pension to him. When he did the press conference on the steps of Capitol Hill...
And they tried to go ahead and throw him under the bus with the Espionage Act.
They tried to prosecute him after testifying as well. Right. So this schmuck really doesn't know what he's talking about. He really doesn't.
Well, he thinks he does, so...
Well, yeah, but he doesn't. And we know that. Public knowledge.
Here we go.
I completely understand the frustration about column B, which is what comes after Congress has provided this information. I think we are seeing, to the previous question, I think we are seeing a lot of activity on the Hill.
Stargazer, they are a 501c4, which means any donations given to the Disclosure Foundation, you can't write them off. The same way of giving money to a politician. You cannot write it off. It's a 501c3. That would be Danny Sheehan's, the New Paradigm Institute, right?
Right.
Difference between the two.
Not the Disclosure Fund. Not
That's
at all.
why they're not getting a lot of donations, because you can't.
Right.
I think, frankly, one of the reasons our organization is so keyed in and focused on some members of Congress is for that very reason. That once they get this information, what are they supposed to do about it? And so I know that doesn't talk a lot about protecting folks individually. That's another subject. But we really also feel strongly that if folks take the avenue that Chris has suggested, and that frankly many of the prominent names that people know about this subject have taken, that's the way to do it. Now, this administrative reprisal stuff that keeps popping up, and
he stutters a bunch.
Yep, when he's nervous.
Like that's all, folks.
Essentially, we use the reprisals. That's the way to do it. Now, this administrative reprisal stuff that keeps popping up, and essentially we use the word retaliation, but that can come in a lot of forms, right? If you're retaliated by a bill of indictment being asserted against you and a criminal charge, well, we can adjudicate that, right? There's a process for that, and we know all the answers to that process. What's way cloudier and murkier is when the federal government itself The
problem is he keeps on touching his desk where his mic is, and every time he touches it, you get that kind of a sound going on. Relax.
From an administrative standpoint, controls these people's livelihoods, right? When and this happens in the private sector. It's not just the federal government. I mean, it happens, in the private employment sector all the time. You go to the boss, you make an HR complaint, and then next you see your reviews are all of a sudden, going in the tank, and a case is being made against you that you're not a good employee and you get fired. Yeah, that's basically what we're talking about here, but on the administrative level. Those protections are inadequate as we see. The law protecting that type of retaliation is inadequate, and Congress needs to address it. We think, again, if you are a whistleblower and you have information that you feel Congress needs to get, you have a legal right to provide it. You should discuss with an attorney first what the safest way to do that for your individual case is. And we can provide that. Our organization can provide that. It doesn't have to. You can find your own counsel to do that. You should have a discussion with a legal professional that can best protect you, but also get the information that you are lawfully allowed to provide to Congress.
Stop talking in circles so many times. Ryan, your hand is up.
He still has faith in Congress.
He has no clue. Congress hasn't been able to achieve shit. Let's go ahead and say all the things Congress has done to achieve UFO disclosure. beyond their talking and things that have going on? What have they accomplished in legislation in the past 3 years?
Yeah, Congress's approval rating is lower than Kim Jong-il's from North Korea.
Well,
so the thing
Congress,
is that,
let's just be this. Congress has less of an approval rating than fucking President Trump has.
but he's forgetting the fact that some of these organizations are running illegally and they don't obey congressional orders on anything. They can put reprisals out on people whether or not Congress says so or not. Remember David Grush said he encountered an illegal operation?
Well, no, not just illegal operations. He's talking about operations that were actually criminal enterprise, using criminal enterprise to generate revenue to go ahead and fund their practices because there wasn't enough funding coming from the federal government. It's worse than that.
Yeah, so they're not going to listen to any congressman who tells them to not retaliate against whistleblowers. I'm just, Congress is, I'm with you, Thomas, 100%. Congress is completely, what has the Congress lady, Gillibrand, what has she done?
She's a piece of shit. Don't even bring her up.
She hasn't done anything.
It's not even worth bringing her up because she's from the Senate and she backs RO and she doesn't bring up any relevant information. She's just a voice that's out there. You can't even go ahead and bring any accomplishments that she's done except bringing out Arrow, and she hasn't done anything, not one fucking thing to go ahead and literally rein in Arrow, her star organization, to make sure they adhere to the laws that were put in place. She's a walking piece of shit, flat out.
Yeah, well, I'll get off here, but
okay, cool.
We're all just kind of waiting for that congressional or that executive order that you talked about at the beginning.
Yes, it comes to an executive order for whistleblowers. That's the next step, and I can't wait to see if we can get Dr. Eric Davis, uncorked, because he can be the one to bring out the truth. Now, the next question we've got coming up: what is the best evidence to convince the skeptic of the phenomenon?
One, I would familiarize myself with the history of this phenomenon. It is stunning when you delve into it how many credible events have occurred involving multiple witnesses and/or sensor information going all the way back to World War II. Around Los Alamos in 1950, they submitted a list of over 200 sightings just around that one facility, from scientists, Air Force officers, etc. And they were asking for assistance from Washington because they were so baffled and concerned by what was occurring. About a third of these were flying saucers. Well, that's one location in just 1 year. Nearby there at Farmington, New Mexico, there was a sighting, front page news again, of hundreds of objects flying over the town in a single day in broad daylight. So when you study the history of this phenomenon and all of the innumerable credible sightings, the cumulative effect is very powerful. That's one thing I would say that has helped to convince me that the phenomenon is very real. Secondly, you can focus in on specific cases like the Nimitz case, which is absolutely stunning. So our most advanced radar is detecting UAP dropping down from 80,000 feet to 20,000 feet in under 2 seconds.
No,
and this is going on.
Nope. It's from 80,000 feet down to 50 feet in less than a second.
And
moving at
54,000
miles per hour.
Right. Plus,
Sorry,
we had
Chris.
Spy 1 radar. We had census tapes. We had Commander David Fravor that had seen this object up close.
No, they didn't. No, it was not David Fravor. It was Kevin Day. And Mike, for today and today only, we've got a special new radar that can go ahead and detect how quickly UFOs are dropping from the upper atmosphere. Yes, for today and today only, you can go ahead and witness UFOs have dropped down from 80,000 feet to 50 feet in less than at the half of a second, moving over 54,000 miles per hour. Sorry, Chris, we hate to interrupt your information, but I think you might be getting a little old on this one.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, we love you, Chris.
On for days, and they're rebooting the
Thank you for
radar, and
bringing that
they're
up.
just having a hard time believing what they're seeing. Finally, there's an intercept with two F-18s, and they see this white 50-foot long craft moving over the water in a way that no aircraft that we know of ever moves, like a ping pong ball, sort of bouncing off in a box, bouncing off the walls, and the water and the ocean surface is roiling beneath it. When one of the F-18s dives to engage it, it turns towards him
shattering kaboom
and shoots off 60 miles in a matter of about 3 seconds. Some extraordinary hypersonic speeds that were just absolutely shocking that any craft could withstand that much acceleration without a sonic boom, by the way, and without plasma from friction. And it hovered at a spot that they had logged into their computers earlier in the day as their rendezvous point for their exercises. Another F-18 comes up and he sees it doing things.
No, it's not the distortion of space-time. It's called a gravitational warp field is created around the craft that allows the craft to go ahead and not move within our atmosphere, meaning you're going to get built up with the friction that goes along with it. It's moving through our atmosphere where the reality is wrapping around the craft, and it's able to do these things because of its gravitational warp field. It is not restricted to the capabilities of the physics that we understand, like Avi Loeb always tries to talk about.
Which no aircraft can do, and he gets an infrared video of it. And meanwhile, this is being tracked on the radar system of the USS Princeton the whole time, and
By
sporadically on other systems on other platforms at the same time.
On the Aegis platform, yes.
So
because it was just recently released, and this is the first time they had an operational environment where Aegis was available, and the non-human intelligence was not available to go ahead and literally change how their signals are received and modified. Because I would say today, if the same thing was going on, those craft would not be showing up on the Aegis system, because by now they have easily and quickly adapted to the capabilities of humans. Don't think aliens are going to sit static and say, this is the technology we have. They're going to take that, and if they see their advances in humanity, they will advance their technology in different ways to thwart our ability to detect these craft.
We have incidents like that and numerous others. That was one that was covered by the New York Times in 2017. There was also a video there from another incident involving the gimbal craft, which was stationary but rotating, and the pilots are sort of baffled by what this thing could be. It's holding its own against a wind that's over 100 knots or something. And then meanwhile, what you don't see, what you don't know, but the pilots are aware of, this thing was accompanied by a group of spheres that had cubes inside of them, 6 foot wide objects, round objects that were flying in formation together. When the F-18s approached, they scattered. With the F-15s less, they reassembled and continued to move with the gimbal craft. What kind of a sphere, how can a sphere fly without wings, without exhaust, without any visible means of propulsion? It's absolutely baffling, utterly baffling. No debunker has solved either of these cases. And the Defense Department admits they're both unsolved. And those are just 2 cases from one near point in time that I was putting out there with video to support them. So there are lots of cases like that, and you have to ask yourself, the FLIR, the case with the Nimitz was 2004. We didn't have anything that could do that in 2004 and don't today. The lead pilot who intercepted the UAP said that thing's not from this earth when he was asked. That was his conclusion. And he's a Top Gun pilot. and an engineer. So, if you're not impressed by that kind of data, then maybe I don't have anything to offer you. But I think there are enough cases like that leave many of us thinking that this is now well documented and credible. In fact, the fact of UAP is acknowledged by our government, by the Defense Department. Your question really goes to, is it extraterrestrial, I think, is what you're asking, proof it's extraterrestrial. What many of us struggle is, we know that is not the former Soviet Union or long ago, or Russia today, or China. We can't imagine they have that kind of technology. We have no indication of that. We certainly don't. So then the question is, what could it be? Who's doing that? And that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Great conversation coming from Christopher Mellon on this. It's something we're going to keep on turning back to. There's a bunch of other questions that are here. But Mike, it's been a great evening so far, my friend.
Oh, yeah. It's been a lot of fun tonight. Great conversation. And we covered a lot of different things.
Yeah. Apparently, there's some pussies in the audience who are still upset because they don't have their mod wrench anymore. We turned that off like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So what are they still whining about?
Nothing
Firefly?
at this point.
I have no idea. So, but either way, I guess Scooby kind of brought that one up, or got them together. Yeah, cry me a river, my friends. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. It's been one heck of a great episode. I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats and your support of what we do here, Mike. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody. But wait, where is it not playing? Here we go.
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Cheers.